What's going on, guys? It's your boy Random Guy Kev, and this is Thoughts of a Random Guy. We talk about many things dealing with love, dating, relationships, adulting, life's ups and downs, and the ever-evolving world of just being a human. Don't forget to check me out on all your favorite social media platforms at Random Guy Kev and my website at randomguykev.com. Today's topic is Fck Family, and my co-host for this episode is...
Hey, it's Sam.
What up, Sam? Thank you for joining me for this episode. And let's get into it. And when I say fuck family, people say that, blood is thicker than water and your family over everything. But sometimes your family isn't always over everything. And sometimes just random strangers are better than the people that are around you that are supposed to be your blood. There's always incidents of, I know a couple people where they think family will support them through a lot of things, but sometimes family's like, fuck you too. So it's like, what do you do? Like how do you feel about that? When do you determine someone's not really your family and you can't really rely on them or go to them for anything?
I think it's like such a deep and difficult question, but I would say personally, I realized at a really early age that my relationship with my parents even it was just not good. And I didn't really, from even like when I was like 10 or probably earlier, like I just didn't feel like I was respected as a human being in their eyes. And so it made the decision for me really easy because I was like, oh, obviously, like, you don't respect me, I don't respect you, like maybe we're not really family, like maybe we're biologically related, but when it comes down to it, I don't think we're really vibing the way like society says family is supposed to vibe. And I think that once you start to feel like the relationship is not really mendable, that's where you should start cutting people off, like at a beginning. Like if they're not even gonna try and you're not even ready to try, then like that's a really good indicator that you should just kind of like let those people go.
But you said at a very young age. So I know as you get older, it's one of those things where it's like you're 18, 19, 20, whatever. It's like sometimes your family's like, okay, you're an adult, you figure it out. But you're saying at a younger age, you felt like they weren't really family.
Yeah, and it might be a topic for another day, like, because I think generational trauma is like a whole other concept. And really, like, to sum it into a couple words, like, essentially, like, my family, my parents and their parents all thought that like growing up looks like XYZ, and sometimes it looks like this really bad relationship with your parents because like teenagers rebel. and
Yeah, yeah.
and like that just is what it is, and like we've all gone through this, so now you must also suffer. And just, I think that concept was enough to push us into this direction where we didn't see each other for who we were, and instead we just saw each other as this like traumatic circumstance. And my parents were definitely not ready to have children when they had me, and I was a child, so I had no concept of the world. And
It wasn't your choice to come into the world. It was theirs.
literally, I'm like, you did this.
Yeah, for real.
But so from really early on, I could just see that like I was not respected. I wasn't seen as a human being. I was just kind of like this keychain, like this thing that came along with them when they went to go do things. And that was a very big nuisance for them because they weren't ready to have children. And so our relationship just became more and more strained as I was the child, and there was all of these expectations for them to live up to as the parent. And we didn't really see eye to eye. And I think like I'm I'm very aware, and I like to get a lot of different perspectives. So I typically give people a little bit more patience than I think the average person would do. And I think that's a lot of why like teenagers do rebel, because at that stage their parents don't see them as like a human being. Instead they see them as like a mini me, and they're like, well, why can't you just do it? Like, I'm telling you exactly what to do. And I think that is like the beginning of this strain.
I think culturally, culturally, a lot of things are different in regards to your situation. I mean, sometimes parents. The thing is like you have kids early, and I get it. If you don't want the kids, give them up. In my opinion, don't keep them around and use them as just fodder.
Yeah.
And like and that because kids learn from their parents, like routines and behaviors and things like that. A lot of things are learned behaviors because of what they experience from their family, and it sometimes drives people into a different type of lifestyle, whether good or bad. Sometimes people want better for themselves, where it's like, damn, my family did not treat me well, and I don't associate with them, but I know when I have a family, I'm going to treat them like, everything. They're going to be treated like the world instead of like garbage. So I know some people, they take their childhood experiences and they either go in a good direction or they go in a bad direction.
Oh yeah.
And a lot of people don't understand it. Like, yeah, like, a lot of things that go on in the world is sometimes how you were raised, what things were going on, what life situations you were in. And then when someone is no longer family, for me personally, it's like you bring no value into my life. Everything you do is essentially negative or to hurt me.
Exactly.
It's like why are you here? You serve no purpose at all. Mm-hmm. So why would I keep you around? I don't like. I learned that a while ago. Why would I keep people around who just want the worst for me?
Right.
For what? Like, I don't care what blood means. Like, I'm not going to force conversation with family members that I've never talked to. And like, me and my brother talk about this often. It's like, we had family members that, we were cool with when we were younger. And as we got older, it was just like, okay, I never talked to these people ever. And it's like, hey, cousin, like we should hang out sometime. We should link up some more. Like, yeah, no, like, I personally don't care to know you personally. Like, we can say hi and bye, keep it cordial, but outside of that, like, I don't like adding new people into my life because it's just, even if it's family, sometimes it's like, I don't care.
It's funny you say that because, like, and this is kind of random, and it's not that I wish this person bad, and actually, like, I really hope that this person gets out of it, but, like, really randomly, the other day I got a message from one of my cousins, and we don't talk. I haven't spoken to her in years, and the last time we did, like, I must have been, like, 8 years old or something. Like, it's been a very long time. But she reached out to me on Facebook Messenger, essentially asking me for money. And it's not that, like, I don't want to help this person. And it's not that, like, I hope that person doesn't get to a better spot. But throughout our entire lives, there's no effort to be a part of my life and for me to be a part of her life until she needs something.
Until they need something. That's like, and that's what I feel as well. Like with certain family members that only come to me like, oh, hey, I just want to check on you, and I'm like, we've never had like conversations that I don't care to have one with you. Have a good day. Bye.
Yeah. And, I think you said something earlier, which is really interesting. And it's really just like the general awareness that, like, you can have an experience as a child, but that doesn't mean that your children have to also have that experience.
Yep. You can't push that down on your kids.
Oh my gosh.
Try to change shit up sometimes.
I'd love to, like, share this story with you and whoever's listening, but, like, and I'm going to try and make it brief, but essentially, like, my family has had this, like, really strained relationship. My mom, my dad, me, and my brother, and me and my brother have probably been the closest throughout this entire thing. And my brother is really going through some, like, mental health issues right now, where he's just trying to figure out what it is that he has, how his life is going to look with treatment, and, like, what he's supposed to do moving forward. And before we even got to the spot, he was in a very bad spot where his head was just spiraling, and it was really difficult for him. So I reached out to my dad and I was like, hey dude, I'm not saying anything is anyone's fault, but maybe, as his parent, you can just show up to the hospital and, like, be there. Just be present for your son who who you haven't seen in years and like is obviously crying for you to help him. And I get this message back that's like, how dare you accuse me of ruining my child and blah, blah, blah. You're the one doing harm to this family, not me. And I was like, okay,
Wow.
let's just, let's dial it back a couple notches because we're not,
Mm-hmm.
this isn't an argument, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm just telling you, your son needs help and he's
Mm-hmm.
asking for you. Like, I haven't accused you of anything, which I could.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
very well could, but I didn't.
Yeah.
And instead, what I did do was I did ask, like, when did you, when was the last time you made the effort to visit the first two children you had outside of this new marriage? And he just laughed. He was like, oh, I'm too old. He's like 50 years old. He's like, I'm too old to take on the adventures of my children. And so there's this prime example of like us all as adults. My brother is an adult. I'm an adult. My parents are adults. But he just like denies this responsibility. And it was so interesting for me to see because we talk about like when is someone no longer family, like it was just so immediate for him to make this decision that he's not going to help and this isn't his fault and it's not his responsibility. And it was almost like he made the decision for me to say, you are obviously not my family, because he was just like, I'm not going to show up. So
Yes, yeah.
what do you want from me?
You see, and sometimes, when it comes to parents, sometimes parents have kids and they just, when it gets to a certain threshold, they're just like, okay, yeah, I don't need to be a parent to you anymore because you're an adult.
Right.
And
Well,
it's like,
what was interesting was I had felt this way towards him for a really long time. And like I mentioned earlier, like I was younger when I started feeling this way. So I started cutting ties with him even when I was like 15, I think. I had stopped talking to him for like 2 years. And my family would come at me and be like, but he's your dad. Like, you have to talk to him. He's your dad. And I was like, no, that dude's fucked up. Like, don't tell me what I have to or don't have to do.
yeah,
I'm a human being and like respect my decision. And it's not until now that I'm an adult and I can articulate the words and those people have been harmed by him that they understand what it is that I was complaining about when I was younger. And it's so easy for family to say, like biological family to say like, well, he's your dad, she's
Yeah.
your mom, that's your brother, you have to talk to them.
yeah.
And that's so toxic because people
it-
are not just related to us because like, I mean, sure, technically
Yeah.
by blood they are, but like you said, like, does that really make them family?
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's like, I get it. That's my mom. That's my dad. That's my sister. That's my brother. It's like, but who cares? At the end of the day, I still have feelings. I have emotions. I still go through shit. And if this person's not bringing value or causing me harm, mental, physical, spiritual, whatever, I don't want them part of my life. And it's like, granted, like, sometimes you get into a situation with somebody and they're just like, oh, okay, like, yeah, me and my family's good. How's you and your family? It's like, yeah, we don't have a relationship. Oh, maybe you should fix it. No, the fuck? Why would I do that? Just respect that I don't have a relationship with them.
Right.
And I hate when people try to force you to have a relationship with people that, you took a step back from, and you had good reason for taking a step back because they were, it came to a point where it's just too much.
Right.
Like, why I continue to give and give and give, and I don't get anything back. So it's like, bro, fuck this shit. Fuck this, fuck this family shit. Like,
For
at the end of the day. And it's okay to say fuck family, because not everybody will remain family forever.
Right.
Even, I don't care if you're blood, whatever. Like, you, at some point, you need peace. You need peace as well. They can't just hit you up whenever they feel like it and just jump in and out of your life or contact you. I would understand if it was consistent, like, hey, just wanted to check on you. I know we haven't talked in a bit, but just checking in and, hope life is going great. Cool. And, that can eventually you get a couple more of those regularly, it eventually turns into something else where, okay, we can have deeper conversations. Like one of my cousins hit me up. I haven't talked to that man in a minute, like 5 or 6 years. Oh damn, it's been a little bit. I think maybe 4. Yeah, I'm probably around that. I mean, he's family and everything, but at the same time, it's like, bro, like you stop talking to everyone. Like I love you and all, and like I used to come to you for a lot of things, and we used to come back and forth but at the same time, it's like you can't just disappear and then pop back up and think everything's the same and want to update on my life. No, that's not how life works. Like you gotta this is a whole new relationship now. We're in a whole new dynamic. Take a step back, baby step it in, and maybe I might answer. But for you to, hit me up out the blue, hey, how you doing? Just wanted to check on you. Like, wow, what's going on with life? Like, I heard you did this. I heard you, like, what? Like, how you keeping track of me and we don't even talk? Like, come on. Like, it's just, again, it's one of those things where sometimes you just got to either tell people or just take a step back. And then, like, I was being very short with him. Like, yep, everything's good. I'm great. Thank you. He's like, oh, no, this is not normally how you talk. Well, I mean, you called me out of the fucking blue and expected me to go on a deep dive about my life that you decided to, take a step back from everybody. Like, that's good on you. Right. I've reached out to you to make sure everything was okay, and I never heard back from you. Like, I thought you fell off the face of the earth, and I'm hearing from other people, you got all this stuff going on. I'm like, oh, cool. It is what it is. And I've given you your time and space, but like at the same time, it's like, bro, like just put up a signal flare saying you're okay.
Yeah.
And you never did that, so fuck that. Like, I keep it moving. Once I don't really have a gray area. Either I care or I don't care. That's it. And when it comes to family, it's like the same thing. Like, I care or I don't care, and that is it. And sometimes, a good number of times, I don't care, especially if we're not really in each other's lives like that.
Right.
And
yeah.
For you, what do you think is, like, what is your threshold when it comes to supporting your family or your family supporting you? Like, do you think there's some type of like, okay, like if you need help, are you gonna be like, okay, let me reach out to my family? Or if like they need help, what's that threshold of, okay, I'll support you for this, but I can't support you for this?
Right.
What's that for you?
I was just thinking about that as you were talking. Like, what are these things that, like, even define what family is? And, like, I know that if I need something, I do not go to my biological family. I go to, like, my friends, who I also consider family.
Yeah.
Because those people consistently come through for me. And
Yep.
I mean, like, I don't like asking for money. But if for some reason I do need to, then, like, I will almost immediately go to friends first. I'm not going to go to my family because I know they're going to, one, I know they're not going to have it. And two, I know it's going to come with like
stipulations.
Yeah.
Stipulations.
Exactly. It comes with this lecture. It comes with like the follow through. It doesn't come with any trust. It comes with like, money, of course. It's terrible. And, the same thing with, like, when my brother needed help, like, it wasn't about money. It was just about presence. It was just about accountability. And, like, that wasn't even doable. And so I do think that, like, these baselines or this threshold is really, like, one, seeing somebody as a human being. Like, they may be your family, but they're not your keychain. They're not your, like, you pull it out of your pocket whenever you're ready to talk to them. Like, that's not how that works.
Yeah, and that's the one thing I hate when dealing with certain people in my family. It's always a stipulation. Hey, I need your help for this. Well, okay, I can help you, but it's like, bruh, you're either family or you're not family. Like, and it's like, I don't expect anything. Like, a lot of my friends and people always question, like a couple of my friend group, my day ones I grew up with in the church, and it's like, bro, like, that's my family. Like, if I don't have anybody else, that's my family, because I know they'll come through for me. Like, they'll drop whatever they're doing. Like, I say I'm in trouble, they'll drop everything and come to me. Like, I had something in January everybody came through. Everybody came.
Oh,
I put in the chat like boom, boom, boom. Something happened. Did it? This is it. And they all like, okay, I'm leaving work right now. Like I'm coming through.
wow. Yeah.
Everybody popped up, and the ones that couldn't pop up, I like called them on the phone, whatever. But it's
Yeah.
like certain people you don't have that, and I know not everybody has a support system. Like, damn, who could I hit up? Like if I'm going through something depressed or like some tragic happens. Like, damn, I got in a car accident. Who could I hit up that'd like come pick me up or something like that? Like we don't have that, and like sometimes your blood is not always your family,
Yeah.
and that's the real fact of it all. I mean, especially going into this day and age where you have access to all your family members. Essentially, you can have access to all of them, but again, communication. A lot of humans fail to communicate, and it sucks. It's like, what can you do?
Well,
Yeah.
I know I have this friend and her, I'm like, how can I change this so I'm not giving away this person? But essentially, like, her family member, someone really close to her, like her aunt, ends up going to like a mental facility because she's just really not doing well. And her mom, this woman's sister, is listed as like first contact. So she gets to the hospital calls, and she's like, I don't know why she's there. I'm not helping her. You need me to pick her up? I'm not coming. And
That's crazy.
that's her sister, dude. Yeah, like
Yeah, that's
it's
crazy.
so bold to me to think that like you could grow up with somebody, you could spend a majority of your life like sure, there's ups and downs. Sure you argue, but also you have these really good times with that person. And when
Yeah.
they need you and they're not right in the fucking head,
Mm-hmm.
you just say, "I'm not
Yeah.
I'm not showing up."
Yeah. I mean, that's sometimes, and that sucks. Like, okay, yeah, that's wow. Damn, that's really rough. Like,
Yeah.
that's really rough. And you expect people to show up for you because you always show up for them, and then it doesn't happen.
But I think you're right. Like, there's a lot of people that don't have a support group and they don't have family they can lean on. They don't have friends they can lean on. And I think building stuff like that is kind of hard because it does take also pouring into those relationships in order to build them. And sometimes we just don't have a lot to offer. And it can feel like, oh, like, how am I going to like build a family if I can't be there to support anybody? But I think
Mm-hmm.
even like finding online groups is such a game changer. Like just the internet has really changed our ability to connect with people
Yeah.
and support them even online. I think is like a really good tool.
Yeah, and I tell everybody, God, get a hobby, because you'll find people in there that like the hobby, like to escape the world just like you do, and then eventually, sometimes it turns into like real world friendships outside of the hobby,
Oh yeah.
and those people come through a lot more than your actual family as well. It's like, bro, like, damn, I didn't expect that.
It's crazy. I think like some of my best friends I've met through airsoft, like my teammates and my closest friends, I met them through airsoft, and just like I know it's a silly hobby, and I know we all kind of like just like meet up to do silly things, but that's where I got to like meet people that I really just resonated with, and I was able to see consistently, and then we were able to talk honestly, and we share things that like we don't share with our family, and it's really nice. Like even like I'll invite those people over for Thanksgiving, and I don't leave to go see my biological family for Thanksgiving.
I mean, again, that's yeah. You see, and that's sometimes as you get. I think it's as you get older, you realize like who's really for you and who isn't.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you don't even. You just out of courtesy, you just go see family, and it's like, bruh, I don't even
But
like these
what does
people.
that do, right? Like it
Yeah.
reinforces this idea that like we need to please the people that don't even try to help us. And like I do think it's like this societal and this like Hollywood influenced thing that tells us like we have to suffer through those holidays. Like, you suffer for your family, you suffer for the sake of family, but like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah. For what reason?
For what? Like, we're
Yeah.
not having a little fairy tale ending like they do in the movies. Everybody's upset when they leave, and like, it's not a
Yeah.
good time. So, what's the point?
Nah, I agree. And as we come to a close for this, like, what do you want to leave people with in regards to family?
Oh gosh. Family is. I'm trying to remember the fucking corny pick your nose quote, but I can't remember it. So what I will say is you can pick your family. You don't like. I think when you're young, it's kind of assigned for you, and you're moving through it, and really the best thing you could do is just move through it as quickly and painlessly as you can. Don't start arguments, and do your best to just kind of remember that there's going to be a point where you get to pick the people who sit beside you, and
Yeah.
that's the best part. And just enjoy those people, love those people like they're your own, and really enjoy them for what they have to offer you in this new family relationship, because just because you have these shitty relationships doesn't mean you have to suffer.
Word, no, I agree. Again, not everybody is your family, even if you guys share the same blood. So, I mean, at the end of the day, do what you feel you want to do and who you consider family, and go from there. But thank you, Sam, for joining me for this episode. That's it for this one. You guys can find me on all social media platforms at Random Guy Kev, and my website at randomguykev.com. Don't forget to check in, and I will catch you guys on the next one.